Welcome to RSSDR TV 2020. I am Dr. Shahu Ingule and you are watching me on RSSDR TV 2020 brought to you by WOCAD. Today I am honored to have with me the eminent personality and renowned senior endocrinologist Dr. S.K. Wangu sir. Sir is the senior consultant endocrinologist and diabetologist, Apollo Center for Obesity, Diabetes and Endocrinology, Indraprasth Apollo Hospital, Delhi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shah.
Sir, we all know that the SGLT2 inhibitors they have an established place in the management of type 2 diabetes mellitus, and they have gained the prime position in the various national and the international guidelines for the diabetes management. So, in the era of recently developed SGLT2 inhibitors, according to you, what is the place of old age molecules like metformin, sulfonylurea, and even the DPP4 inhibitors?
Yes, Dr. Shah, you are right. The SGLT2 has become a five-star molecule in the treatment armamentarium of the type 2 diabetes. But nonetheless, that old is gold, and a king cannot win a battle without its army. So every molecule has to have the support of the other molecules in the management of type 2 diabetes. As you rightly said, the most of the major guidelines has placed the SGLT2 as the one of the top first tier molecule, particularly the European Society of Cardiology in the latest 2020 guidelines. They have put this molecule in front of ahead of the metformin also. But they also say that if the patient is already on metformin, continue metformin and add on SGLT2 for patients who need cardio-renal protection. That is number one. But nonetheless, this is a molecule which comes with a cost, and all the patients who are not able to afford it. And there's certain garden variety with the patient if we just segregate the patient into two. Patient who have established ASCVD, a patient don't have established ASCVD. So established ASCVD, no doubt about the role of the GLP-1 receptor analog and the SGLT2. But in patients who have a garden variety of the patients has no established ASCVD, has no evidence of underlying CKD, has no what to call the predisposition for the heart failure, we still have the very good molecules like gliptins. We have molecules like glucoside, sulfonylurea. We have molecules like metformin. Metformin earlier was the first drug of choice, which was followed by any of the other class of the drugs in the pipeline. But nowadays, if we want an aggressive control, the combo of a metformin and DPP4 inhibitor has become the drug of choice to start with in patients who have baseline HbA1c of more than 7.5. So we have two segments of population, have and have nots. Those who can afford it, we have very good molecules like SGLT2 and the GLP-1 receptor analogs, and those who cannot afford it, we still have to go with the previous guideline, metformin as the first line of drug, followed by a combination, any class of drug with the sulfonylurea, TZDs, gliptins, or the GLP-1 receptor analog. So this is my view.
Okay, sir. So, sir, how do you see the CVOT data of SGLT2 inhibitors as compared to the other OADs, and how do you see the results of the Carolina trial?
Oh, good. See, the CVOT data for the SGLT2 is very robust, and you take any trial that for the SGLT2, whether it is with the dapagliflozin, whether it is with the empagliflozin. Of course, the empagliflozin has the most robust CVOT trial because it has got specific impact on the CV death rate. And if you see the CV death hazard ratio is the best with the empagliflozins, while the other molecules of the same class could not come very close to the hazard ratio of CV death, which has been shown by the empagliflozins. So I will say, as regard to CV death, this EMPA has its top priority, but as regard to 3-point MACE, I'll place all the SGLT2 on the same group, though the DAPA heart failure or the declared TIMI could not basically show any improvement in the 3-point MACE because that was primarily to look at the heart failure event, basically. They have shown very promising result in the reduction in the hospitalization for the heart failure. But I will place as regard to the 3-point MACE. But if we dissect the 3-point MACE, the CV death, basically the mortality benefit is with the empagliflozin. So that is my, otherwise the HbA1c reductions and the durability, efficacy, side effect profile is almost equal among all classes of the SGLT2.
Okay, sir. So, sir, if the patient is not affording SGLT2 inhibitors or the GLP analogs, or they are not tolerating these two classes of the drugs, particularly the patients with established cardiovascular diseases or the patients with renal diseases. So, what would be your preferred choice of other?
Of course, the gliptins remain the drug of choice, and in particular, linagliptin, where we have no doses adjustment required in patients of CKD at any variety, and they are CV neutral. And what you were telling, the Carolina trial, which was a very head-to-head dedicated trial with the glimepiride versus linagliptin, and that has told us the truth that the linagliptin was it was a non-inferior trial, and linagliptin could show that even if it was not showing any superiority, it was a cardiac neutral, and that too sulfonylurea was equally. They got benefit, what you call, indirectly from the Carolina trial after the trial was out. So we can again come and say that the sulfonylurea is also cardiac safe to be used. So we have good drugs like sulfonylurea, gliptins, and the metformin as the alternative choice of the drug. These are the army of the oral antidiabetic drugs, which has to fight with the other, what you call, the superior drug, but army has to be very strong. You can't win the war with a single molecule. It has to be basically attached. It has to be a sort of a combo therapy with the other molecule. That is my mantra for treating diabetes.
Okay. So, sir, what will be your final concluding message to the practicing diabetologists who are watching this show for the usage of SGLT2 inhibitors, GLP analogs, and the older molecules?
Well, my final message, take-home message is that treatment has to be individualized. Don't rush directly into the guideline. Individualize in the patient, make them see whether they have any underlying cardiac, multiple cardiac risk factors or not. Calculate the 10 years probable cardiac risk, whatever the score you are using, and place themselves that if the patient is young, early onset diabetes, HbA1c is less than 7.5, even at the onset 7, has no comorbid conditions, has no multiple cardiac risk factor, I think still the first drug of choice will remain the metformin, and followed by a SU combination, which is the commonest combo therapy in India. And now the gliptins are off patent, particularly the vildagliptin. They can add vildagliptin initially along with the metformin if the HbA1c is high. So segregate, individualize your patient. And if we get a patient who has got established ASCVD, who has a family history of CAD, no choice, but if the patient can afford SGLT2, but you are telling me if the patient is not able to afford, I will still prefer a combination of the gliptins with the metformin, which has given us a very good result. And don't forget the old poor man's insulin, the sulfonylurea. With the Carolina trial, they have come into the forefront also, and we are using very frequently SC and metformin combination without any much, what you call, the safety issues. So I'm sure with the wider use of the drugs, which I have been using for decades together, we have a lot of experience of using. And if we are very cautious about using the drug, and we can do the justice with these other older molecules. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views and joining us on RSS DI TV brought to you by WOCAD. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.